Hey everyone, welcome to the TechSource.tv. Now today I have with us, and it's the review edition of the show, the NZXT Kraken series of coolers. Now there's two versions, and these coolers are the world's first 140mm water cooler. So that means they use 140mm fans. Now this is a 280mm rad, and this is a 140mm rad. Those are the differences really. So basically this has got two fans and that's got one. Now today we're going to be reviewing it, and this review is going to be a little different from our typical reviews. Now in the description you'll find all the usual info of the video, and as well as you're going to find a breakdown of the video. So there will be timestamps for every different thing we've done in this video. It should make it easier for you when it comes to viewing the video. If you want to just see performance results, or if you want to see something specific, you can click to that instead. Or if you just want to watch the whole thing, just stick around. So anyways guys, today, and let me know if you like this style as well. Then we'll be doing it in the future. But anyways, guys, today on the TechSource.tv, we're reviewing the Kraken. We're going to go over some general information and pricing about the X60 and X40. Let's start with the X40. Now the X40 is a single fan unit, and it has a single 140mm fan included. You can do a push-pull setup with 240mm fans if you do choose so. Now that'll get you a little bit better cooling performance, a little bit more noise, but you'll get more static pressure going through the rad, which is nice. And it'll make the unit a little bit bigger. Let's go over some just general dimensions about this and fitting it in your case. Now, you're going to need a standard 140mm mount fan area to mount this. You need a little extra room than a 140mm fan, because a 140mm fan is, that's general size. I can't remember the exact size of it, but a general fan is about 25mm in thickness. Now, this is 27mm plus the 25 for a fan, so it's about 50mm. Just over 50mm thick. It's about 53mm thick with fan, and as well as it measures 140mm by 172 and by 27. So that's the depth of it. So, and it features an aluminum rad with a copper base and rubber hosing, which is 400mm in length, which is very long, as you can see. It's very long hosing. It's very flexible because it is rubber, so you can do lots. It's good. You're not going to be afraid to break it. Unlike older units by other companies, actually had like plastic hosing, and it was really cheap feeling, and I didn't like that. So this is really nice. It feels very high quality. So just want to make sure when you're putting it in your case, or you're planning on buying one of these, if you do, and you're planning out a case to put it in, just make sure you got a little extra room. As you can see on the top and the bottom, you just need about an extra couple millimeters here on the top and the bottom, and that's why it is 172. So yeah, you just need to keep an eye out for that. If you do have this room, it'll fit in any standard 140mm mounting area. As well as for info for both of them, the fans are 140mm fans. They go from 800 to 2000 RPM, which is pretty awesome. Their noise levels go between 21 decibels to 38 decibels, so you can definitely vary the fan speed with the Kreken Control. So no adapters or anything like that. You can really adjust it and customize exactly what you want it. And I'll show you the Kreken Control in a bit. As well as they push out an airflow of 57 to 93 CFM, which is really good. So that's a lot of air. It pushes a lot of air. Now when you do put it up to max speed, it does get a little audible, but that's to be expected with any fan that spins around 2000 RPM, especially one at this size. It pushes a lot of air. I know when I was using it at full speed, it was like a wind tunnel pretty much. It was crazy. So that's really good. Also, all the fans are PWM. The fan controllers are PWM, so that's really good. So you do get full control of speed over your fans, and that's how the Kraken Control really works. As well as all the cables that come off of it, but one, are all black with black cables and black wiring. So as you can see, here's the fan controller, very nice, all black, and then the CPU connector is non-PWM because it does all the speed control through the Kraken Control. But it is a 3-pin connector with black cabling, black wiring, black sleeving, and black connector, which is really nice. And all the power for the X40 goes through here, so no external power is required, which is awesome, even when including the second fan. So that's powering the pump, the fans, it's 2 fans, and the pump all off the CPU power connector, which is good. Now the USB is meant for the Kreken Control, giving it all its extra info it requires. Now the only downside about the USB connector is the actual wires when they go from the braiding and sleeving, and then they go over to colored connectors and then back to a black connector. So kind of a letdown on that, and both devices do the same thing, which is a huge, like, why did they do that? Because everything else is nicely done black. So both units do that. Now, the main difference between wiring on the X40 and the X60 is pretty much everything's doubled up. You got 2 fan connectors as opposed to 1. And if you have push-pull configuration, you're going to get 4, which is going to be a lot more wires. You get 4 fan plugins on the Kraken fan controller as well, and as well to handle all the extra fans. It does include a serial ATA power, which is really nice instead of a Molex. These are a lot easier to plug in. They're a lot smaller and compact for fitting in behind your motherboard tray. As well as that, everything else is the same issue with the USB connector. You got the non-colored there, which seems very odd. The rubber hosing's the same 400 millimeter in length, super flexible. Same aluminum rad, just twice the size. It holds, instead of 140 millimeter fan, it holds 2. Has the exact same fans. Has the exact same pump with the Hue LED controller built into it with the same Kreken Control and copper base and mounting system. So if you do happen to own 2, like we have 2, they're interchangeable, all the parts for them, which is really nice. For mounting on CPU sockets, it's the same for both. You get LGA 1155, 1156, 2011, 1366 for Intel. And as well for AMD, you get AM3 Plus, AM2, AM2 Plus, and AM3 and FM1 and FM2. That's really awesome. You get all the AMD sockets and all the current Intel sockets, which is great. So they mount on everything very easy. As you can see, here is the actual mounting bracket. It's got this. This is the Intel setup for 1155. But in the instructions, it's very easy to install, and it's really good. It has a backplate that you install as well. And you literally just screw it in, and it goes in very easily. It's easy to remove and install, and when we were doing our testing, I actually didn't rebuild this. I just pulled off this bottom ring, and it was easy just to swap over the cooler between the X40 and the X60. Now, how many of you guys are actually going to be doing that? I don't think very many of you guys will be switching between X40 and X60. But as I can report, it's very easy to do. So that's that. And that's pretty much it. And as well as prices for these, this is about $99 MSRP. This is $139, so the prices are a little bit more expensive than their 120 millimeter rivals, but they are the first in the market, and they're the only ones in the market with 140. So I would expect the prices to be more because they are bigger and have more surface area. So they're going to be a little bit more expensive. It's typical with water cooling stuff. When you go bigger form factor, it's going to be more expensive. So there you go. General info about the 2 units. So first things first, I'm going to show you guys on how to install it. So before we do anything, let's show you guys how to put it on your system. It's actually really simple, and the instructions are really good. So I'm just going to quickly go over it. But if you have any so I'm just going to quickly go over it, really. So first things first, what you're going to need is figure out what socket you have. Do you have 2011? Do you have 1366? Do you have or AMD or 2011? So they're a little different. So let's show you the differences. Here is the Intel ring. And here's the AMD ring. As you can see, they're slightly different. Here's an AMD backplate. Here's an Intel backplate. Slightly different. Now, the AMD backplate has no other holes or any other setup, so it's pretty self-explanatory. You put the double-sided tape on here if you wish, and you stick it to the back of your motherboard after you remove the original AMD one. For the Intel one, it's a little different. We have 3 different holes on them, as you can see. Each hole corresponds with different sockets, so just be careful when you're paying attention by pushing the sleeves through that give the threading for your socket. Next, you're going to need to grab these little plastic things, your corresponding rig, and attach them like you're going to be attaching them accordingly to how the manual says, and for your setup. So these 2 plastic pieces, they clip together, so one goes on the top of it, and the other goes on the bottom. So I'll show you quickly. Here, they snap together like this. So that's pretty good. And then after that, after you've done all 4, you're going to be grabbing your screw. Now be careful, there is 2 different screws, and I'll show you that in a second. There's ones for 2011 and ones for everything else. Now this is the one for everything else. You can slide the screw through the hole, and it's secure. Then after that, you're going to do that to all 4 and set it up to the way it's supposed to be, the way the manual says for your socket, and do that. And then, finally, you're going to attach it to your pump. So here is your pump and CPU block. Put it on like so. So now it's attached to the hooks. Grab your securing ring. Put the securing ring on. Best way I found to put it on is put the clips towards the holes and it's secure. And then now, I actually just had one of these things just falling out. I've never had that happen before. Maybe I not pushed it in all the way. Yeah, I definitely did not push it in all the way. But anyways, it's all good. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. But As you can see here, this is all mounted. You're going to have all your 4 screws in, like our X40. So let's quickly grab our X40. It's going to look like this, see, as you can see. Nicely secured. Everything's installed correctly, not just slapped together any old way. And this is set up right now for socket 2011. Not 2011. Socket LG1155 or 1156. They're both exactly the same. And then after that, because you already have your backplate on your motherboard, you're just going to go ahead and screw this in, and it will already have pre-applied thermal gel, so you don't have to worry about adding any. You just have to clean off your CPU, make sure it's clean, and plop this on. Because we don't have any on, because we've already installed this, we're going to add some fresh thermal gel, put it on, and now we're going to show you how quiet or loud this can be. So our next test is going to be testing the sound of the system with the Kraken installed. Now, as you can see, we have a GTX 480. It's not under load, so it's not very loud. We have a 240 millimeter fan here. We have a Antec Quattro power supply, a Western Digital Black, which is actually under the Kraken, and the Kraken itself is right here. So the fan is actually blowing this way, which is actually somewhat towards the mic, and the GTX 480 is positioned towards the mic, so you might hear a bit of that. But we're not going to ramp that up. I'm going to load up the Kreken Control. I'm going to spin this up to max speed and then spin it back down to minimum, and you can hear it. Alright, so I'm sitting at my system right now, and I'm going to show you guys the difference between silent and extreme modes, which are the predetermined settings in the Kreken Control. Then we're going to flip it up to my custom setting, which actually goes a bit more higher RPM than extreme. So first off, we're doing silent. Now extreme. Now custom, which is full speed. Back to extreme. So the differences between the settings is silent will actually ramp up the fan speed based off of the temperature of the fluid in the system, along with extreme. Custom, I've set it to go full speed all the time, doesn't matter what the temperature is. So I'll show you guys screenshots of that. Alright, so the same sound test again, but with the X60. As you can see, the X60's here. We have 2 fans hooked up. And yeah, so first off, silent mode. Okay, now extreme. Now full speed. Now back down to extreme. And silent. There you go. Test complete of both the X60 and X40. Alright everyone, welcome to the Kreken Control software suite. And so this is included with the actual Kraken on a disk. Now, if you do not have a disk drive, I would recommend as well, is even though it comes with the disk, check out NZXT's website if they do have a later version of it. I think the latest version right now of testing is 1.10. All right. So first things first, we are on the dashboard menu. It actually cleanly lays out your liquid temperature, fan speed, which is currently at 1,000 to 800 RPM. Our pump speed, which is sitting around I'd say 3,000 to 3,200. Here it's supposed to show you CPU temperatures, but for some reason it's not picking it up on ours, so I just use real temp or the actual click BIOS 2 that comes with the MSI to get our CPU temps, which is odd. I don't know why that doesn't have coming up. I tried running it as administrator and reinstalling and uninstalling. It doesn't pick it up. Anyways, and as well as you got, your typical controls here.
all your different menus down here, and as well as an easy way to go flip between extreme fan settings. As you can see here, I ramped it up, and our fan speed goes up to 1500 RPM, and our pump speed goes up. And as well as you can do custom, which is my full speed setting, which goes all the way up to 2000 RPM. Well, it should. Come on there. Let's go. All right. So we're going to shut that up because that's a little noisy. Next, we're going to go over to the graph. So pretty much this shows you our temperatures for our liquid. And as you can see, it's then pretty much the same because our CPU hasn't gone into load. This shows you the different fan RPMs that has happened over a period of time. So this looks about span of 10 minutes. Actually, no, span of just over, actually quite a while here. Next, we have our fan settings. So this is where as you can see, the silent mode. We can go all the way up to 100%. You can actually control the fan speed. Oh, actually the fan, here we go, 1860 RPM. It's showing as the max. And we're going to go back down to 25%. So as you can see here is the graph where it shows as the temperature gets hotter, the fan speed will ramp up in the silent mode. And under the extreme mode, it actually starts at 50% and then ramps up very high. And under extreme, or my custom, it just starts at 100% and stays at 100%. And that's what I've made. And you can restore this back to default. So we're going to go back to silent. And then as I showed you guys before, we have the hue LED control here. So this is where you adjust your colors, and it shows you a preview color here, and then you'll see it in your system. As well as we have lighting effects. So we have the high temperature color. So if the liquid does go over 45 degrees, it will change colors into red. As well as we have the fade to, and also strobe every interval. And also you have the other settings for that as well. And then we have our general settings. We can show the temperature in Fahrenheit if you do choose so. You can have it start minimized. You can have it as well as auto start. So when you turn on your computer, it does start as well. We have system logs. So we'll actually start reporting logs every 1 to 5 minutes. We have liquid temperature notification, so it will notify you once the temperature does reach over a certain amount, and as well as fan speed notifications. The fans do reach different thing, and you can change the language here. And that's pretty much a basic overview of the Kreken Control. Now, this is the same for both the X60 and the X40. Alright guys, so the time in the video has come to show you the performance of the Kraken X60 and X40. Now, how we're doing the testing and what our test bed is. Now, for you guys who are not familiar to the show, I'm going to quickly go over it. We have an i7-377K overclocked to 4.4 gigahertz, as well as we do stock clock testing as well. So that's at 3.5 gigahertz with the turbo mode off, so we can get solid clock speeds and get, good temperatures, good temperature readings. Because when you have the turbo mode on, it'll actually just kind of fluctuate the clock speeds, and you don't want that, especially for this. And as well as we have a GTX 40, which is irrelevant for this test, 16 gigs of RAM, an MSI Z77A GD65 motherboard, 1 terabyte Western Digital black hard drive with an Antec True Power Quattro 1200 watt power supply. So that is our test bed sitting on the motherboard box for the meantime. Our actual real test system, bed bench thing has been ordered, but it's out of stock, so we're waiting on it. So for now, we're using motherboard box. It's awesome. It's ghetto. So let's go ahead and show you guys the results. We tested both at silent and my extreme setting, not the predetermined extreme setting, because it doesn't ramp up to the full speed because it doesn't meet the threshold. So I did my own custom setting that ran the fans at max at all times. And I really don't care about temperatures when it comes to doing this testing. I mean, not temperatures, but I don't really care about sound. So we ran it at max, like crazy. So let's go ahead and show you guys the results. Conclusion time, guys. So, as you can see, the numbers show that the Kraken X60 is the best cooler we have ever tested. So, I am now giving it the crown of the best cooler of all time, of this current date when this was filmed. So please keep that in mind. The X40 will now be close runner-up, and I can't wait to see what will knock this off, or how long these guys will hold their crown of being the best cooler and the second best cooler we've ever tested. So that is awesome. Now, I've said that.
Being the best cooler and being like any other product, they're never perfect. There's always imperfections. First imperfection being the USB cable has this weird, it's fine. Everything, all the cables and the rest of the system are 100% black except for the USB. It has colored cables. Why? They should have made those black. And I hope NZXT updates this in future revisions, please, because that's a small detail that could be easily solved. As well as, for some reason, my Kreken Control was not picking up my CPU temperature. Don't know why, but it's not a big concern because I have real temp to check my CPU temps anyways. Maybe a future revision will fix that, but I don't know. I downloaded the latest version from their website and tried the disk version. Didn't work on either. So, and between both CPU coolers, never picked it up. So, besides that, Kreken Control is perfect and bug-free. And as well as they mount on a whole bunch of different Intel and AMD sockets, installation was easy. And as well as, since they're 140mm units, in silent mode they are really quiet, and I really like that from them. And the only other thing is case compatibility, guys. Just go on NZXT's website. They got the full specifications there of all the, like, what's on the side of the box. And in the video when I was talking about it, I'll have like a really detailed, like, close-up shot of it as well. Double check the measurements. I just want to give you guys one thing, because on the box it only says these are 27mm in thick. Now that's the rad, but once you add the 25mm thick fan, you're going to be measuring 53mm thick. So that's how thick the full rad width fan is. So just double check in your case before you buy it, and just get a ruler or measuring tape and make sure you can fit the thickness and the length of a 280mm rad, and as well as, you know, the 140mm rad we have here. And they are a little bit longer than 240mm fans and a single 140mm fan as well. So the measurements are on NZXT's website. And if you are doing the X60, just make sure you can fit 240mm fans butt to butt. Then you can fit this. And that's good. So I know a lot of cases have a lot of mounting for 120, but 140 is new. As well as the pricing, I'd say is a little bit steep at $99 and $139, but it's to be expected. You're paying a premium for a bigger cooler and the best cooler on the market, so I'll give it that. It's kind of like, this is the Concorde of CPU coolers right now. It's the best one on the market, so yeah. Anyways, guys, the X60 and the X40 are, as I said many times already, the best coolers on the market. So if you are looking for a 140mm all-in-one water cooling solution, the X60 and the X40 are your only choices. But if you are going for a full custom water loop, then, you know, that's going to be better. It always is, because it's a lot more surface area and a lot bigger. But there you guys go. So please remember to subscribe if you did find our channel. If you'd like this video and you want to check out other videos from us. And please remember to rate, thumbs up if you did find this video informative and whatnot. So we'll see you guys next time on TechSource.tv with more news, question source, and reviews right here. So please remember to subscribe. See you guys next time.